Well, AMC continuing to follow the trend that I've pointed out for weeks now. For weeks. Everyone said I had no idea what I was talking about. But here we are, taking a look at AMC today. What is going on? We're at a very important level for the AMC bulls, the AMC holders. This $35 level is going to be a battleground. Taking a look at the chart and talking more about AMC right here in this video. What's going on, guys? Patrick here. Now, today we're talking about AMC once again. I know everybody, like, there's a confusion between people that don't want me to talk about it, and then there's also people that are like, they want me to talk about it because they want me to be wrong. But in general, I feel like overall, the grand picture, the big picture for AMC, I've been pretty spot on over and over, because at the end of the day, AMC has still not went to the moon. And well, like we talked about in some other videos, there's still very, you know, there's still a possibility that AMC could go to the moon, but I believe, like I've been saying, that AMC will go down to a point where a lot of people end up getting out of it and just getting over it, and then all of a sudden we're going to get a big explosion and we'll get that next big move. But until we get to the point where everybody kind of gives up and people just stop talking about AMC, and you know, the majority of holders are kind of just feeling like they're beaten down, like they've lost everything, until that point, well, we just might not do anything but go sideways or go down from here. And as you can see, that yellow line that we drew on the chart, we drew that line like weeks ago here, and that line continues to hold as resistance here. And if you zoom in, again, we got the support there at the level there, that $35 level, and look how beautiful. I would say this is like a massive flag at this point, this kind of just sideways consolidation. And like I said, and like we talked about in the other videos, really kind of what I see happening from here is if 35 holds, we get one more push back up to the 40s, and then we pull back here. We get super tight. Like, this is going to get super tight in here, right? We get super tight. And then finally, like, it's like if we finally get that bullish move, it's going to happen once we just get so tight and so coiled up there that this thing is going to be like, wee, up to the moon there. But the problem is, I think a lot of people keep getting excited every time this kind of pops up to this resistance. It pops up to this resistance and then pulls back. As you can see how like literally, look how this thing has basically just followed that overall trend for the last few months here, as this has moved down there again to the $35 level. So now the question is, okay, if you look at the overall chart, look at the volume has been slowing down, decreasing through this entire move to the downside here, the overall fade out here, and now that $35 level being like right there at that support. So we recently bounced off of that $35 to $34 level, and it pushed up here to the 44 level and pushed right back down. You can see there's a gap in the chart right now, so there is, you know, I would say that gap right here needs to probably get filled, and that would put us kind of back up to this resistance there at the $40 level there on AMC, which kind of plays into that overall move perfectly there on that setup with that gap in the chart there. So the problem now is, you know, everyone has been talking so much about how the SEC needs to do something, how all these things need to be done, and well, clearly nothing is being done about whatever manipulation or whatever's happening with the dark pools or whatever theory that people have. Nothing is coming from it, right? Because we continue to see exactly the same exact price action that we've seen for the last few months. Since June, AMC has basically just been I would say a market maker's dream, because number one, they keep letting it pop so people will buy calls. They keep letting it drop so people will buy puts. And they've basically just been able to make tons and tons of money off of all the retail traders who have been chasing it or been selling, and vice versa. So very interesting to see how the market makers have been playing this like a fiddle. Today is Wednesday, which leads me to believe that we will continue to see some downside here from this point. Now, I've obviously been wrong with calling that move before, and I don't really want to call that move, especially when we're at this support there at the $35 level. But I think it's pretty clear, if $35 to $34 cannot hold, well, then our next support is again down here at the $28 to $30 point at there. So we've basically, got that double bottom forming right now. So if we could bounce off of 35, like I said, we should be able to push back up here to the 40s. If we can't bounce there, I would expect a nice little dip down here to the $28 to $30 level. I mean, pretty much I would put it just like that. So we're at a very fine point in time, fine line in the sand here for AMC at that $35 level. And it'll be interesting to see if we can bounce from this point. Like I said, it's pretty much a 50-50 coin toss at this point. But it would, thinking that it's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday, and then Friday, maybe we get this little relief bounce off of 35 and push up there. But something tells me that there's probably a better chance that this is going to break to the downside. But like I said, I've been wrong before. But in general, the picture stays the same. The big picture stays the same. The overall trend is intact. We have not seen a new high on AMC in months. And I think, I'm not going to say it, but I think that there's going to get to a point where people are going to get bored. They're going to get over it. And this thing's going to continue to consolidate sideways or consolidate down. If we get down to this $28 level, I've already called it before, obviously that $15 to $16 level being that next support, which was previous resistance there. So it's not that I'm trying to intimidate or scare or, get anybody to sell their AMC position. I am just basically drawing lines on the chart, seeing the trends, and basically trying to have an idea of what happens from here. To let you guys know, I am bullish on AMC. I do own call options that expire in December. We'll see what happens. I believe that if we're going to get a move, it's going to happen before the end of the year. I talked about this before, how, if people with these big hedge funds or traders or people like that are holding big short positions, and we finally just get to a point where AMC just is consolidating and going sideways and it's boring and it's not fun to trade anymore, people will start to unload their positions towards the end of the year to lock in profit, especially people, that bought or sold in this area. So it'll be interesting to see how the end of the year affects the overall move here on AMC. But today, again, just kind of bouncing off that $35 level. We'll see if $35 can hold. It's funny because if you look at the 15-minute chart here, we had a pop at open. We popped up there, and then we're pulling back down to that $35 level. So again, they're kind of just able to sucker people into this so easily. And you can see the gap in the chart there from the October 22nd drop down. So we'll see, do we push back up here to the $40 level and try to get into this point at the end of the week here or towards November? We'll see what happens. So that's kind of my breakdown on AMC. It's pretty much the same story that we've already talked about, and we kind of know that until we break through that upper downward or that bigger downward trend line there, until we break through there, it's pretty much the same story here. So again, today, $35 will be very important to see if it can hold and kind of see what happens with that price action at that point. So if you guys haven't already, do me one big favor, hit that like button, subscribe button. That's my take on AMC. That's pretty much, all I got to say about that. Talk to you guys later on.